right now you're about to start, or you're
Well,
already live?
it's live. Yeah, we're live.
Right.
Oh.
Why did you want to say something or?
No, it's fine. I'd like to know beforehand.
No, don't worry. I know. I'm letting you know now, and I am live. We are
KingSithis
live
is
on the
now
internet.
live streaming World of Warcraft. Debate Ancaps.
Were we live a minute in the previous call? Like,
No. I just started it like right now, like literally like right now. Well, not now, but
Oh,
like
alright.
maybe like 10 seconds ago or 30 seconds ago. Yeah,
Okay.
30 seconds ago. Yep. Generally, when we're in, I generally only start it when we're in the room, another room, but when we're alone in the master debaters, I don't record because, you know, unless I tell you guys.
okay.
I like that to be our little private domain.
I'm gonna make a video again today. Like, it's been like over a week since I've made one. I want to make like at least like relatively big one.
Oh, bro, you forgot to upload that TikTok I sent you. Are you gonna do that, or you don't want to do it?
Oh,
there's Dave
right.
Smith.
No, it's like what is it called? I downloaded it on my PC and like the sound looked fine, but then when I sent it to my phone, the sound was like completely cooked, and it did it with both of them. It was so weird. Couldn't
Oh, all right, no problem. I don't know.
didn't allow me to. I don't know. I really don't know what the problem was.
Okay, no problem. Make a TikTok about make a clip of me and then put some like music afterwards after me saying some crazy shit like, you know, taxation is theft.
Yeah,
Ah.
I'll find it. Maybe I'll find a good clip and then I'll edit it.
Yeah.
Um,
I have
well, me and my friend just created like a Telegram group, and he has like a bunch of clips to use for like and edits.
Oh, my TikTok has tons of good clips, so I'm sure you'll find one. Or my YouTube.
Yeah.
And you can download them all. I want to seem more popular than I actually am. You know, if people make clips of me and then start posting them around, people think I'm actually a big Ancap, even though I'm not.
Yeah. My bad.
Well, they're gonna be like,
I
wait,
do post on,
Ancap? Instagram? No, I don't have one.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't I?
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
I do much better on Insta than I do on TikTok.
Really?
I've been
like
I've been dry fasting today in order to try to become a less big Ancap.
Yeah, bro.
I got like
Don't eat so
I
much.
got like I think it was like 8 million views in total I have on Instagram. It's actually crazy.
Shit.
One
bro.
time I made an infographic, and then Anthony posted it on his Twitter, Young Capitalists, and overnight it got 7 million views. It was an infographic about how law works without government.
Interesting.
Another reason we must abolish the state. I've been binge watching those videos that you told me to watch.
All right, this is stream. This is weird to bring up on a live stream.
Yeah, bro. It's been totally working. I went from having sex to 0 women ever in my life to 200 women in a night. It was great.
And I wish I had like kilos of ketamine.
Just got to work more and then get more money and then you can buy it.
I often contemplate one day like starting a, like veterinary ketamine manufacturing company. And then just having access to all the ketamine I want. I used to have access to all the ketamine I wanted. That was fun.
ketamine, bro. Bro, where are the people at, bro? This isn't fun. We need to debate some people, bro.
What do we disagree on? What can we debate about?
I think that I don't know, bro. For Ancaps, we agree on pretty much most anything. I think that when
How
men,
do you feel about voting?
I think
How do you
that
feel
men
about
should,
like voting?
I think
voting
men should pay.
libertarian?
I think that men should pay the first date when they take a woman out.
Cucked, simped.
I'm a cuck for saying
That's a
that.
guy who won't. I'm saying that a guy who pays for the first date is probably not going to get laid.
Well, then how do you tell her to pay?
I don't personally do dates generally. I don't do like let's go to dinner. I do like come over and I'm going to fold you in half and brutally impregnate you.
Oh, gotcha. Well, you've never taken a woman on a date?
I'm not saying never. It's just not what I generally do. And part of that, part of why I don't is because I have
What's up, Pseudo?
trial and error.
What's
Hello,
up?
pseudo.
What do you think about taxes?
Taxes? They're
Yeah.
bad.
W. What do you know about
Pseudo, are you a communist?
I'm a socialist. I prefer the term socialist.
disgusting?
But you have a hammer and sickle.
Yeah,
Hammer and sickle.
that makes me a socialist. Communism is not an ideology. Communism is not an idea. Communism is just like a societal stage.
Okay, that's like the specific Marxian definition of communism, you know, where you've achieved a stateless, moneyless, classless society and all things are free.
Yeah, we don't
And,
want
you know,
that.
you are
That just
living in-
arises naturally from what we want.
Yeah,
ostensibly.
you deal with
I've
the
never seen it
the
actually
hunger
go that
problem.
way. You know,
No,
there have been a lot of
Look at the Soviet Union under Stalin. It was very close to achieving communism until he died.
Really?
okay, this has to be a troll.
That's got to be a joke.
Well,
Well,
if you
well,
include stateless as part of it, and by the way, actually for that matter, moneyless, and for that matter, classless, I don't think the Soviet Union was anywhere near any one of those things.
Yeah.
Well, the Soviet Union obviously had its mistakes. I'm not saying that it was perfect, but
Thing was nearly, you know, if you define communism as this societal stage that's like an ideal, and you qualify that with stateless, classless, and moneyless, it's then quite problematic to say that the Soviet Union was almost that. I think they were very, very, very far away from that, and I don't think they were moving in that direction either. They had a very large and growing state. Money was thoroughly integrated into their economy.
And they definitely
they
did have
had
classes.
class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they had the politically connected elite class, and then they had the new peasant class in the form of what communists would call the proletariat. The average people were certainly not prospering, but the politically connected, the powerful, the Stalins of the world, or I should say of the Soviet Union, were very powerful and very wealthy and had all kinds of ways they were waited on and catered to. They had
yes,
palaces and so forth.
I love landlords.
not no. They didn't have landlords over there.
Well, they had the Soviet Union state.
The state was the
which-
landlord. Yeah.
The state was kind of the landlord, sure. I mean, to my understanding, I'm not aware of something akin to property tax in the Soviet Union. But if you lived on that land, you were obliged to provide your labor to the government.
He who don't work, don't eat.
Yes, so it
Stalin.
wasn't perfect. Yeah, we agree. Like, the Soviet Union we learn from. As you can see, the three laws of dialectics, materialist dialectics, dictate that change is inevitable. So, yeah.
Well,
The what?
yeah, but change can mean a lot of different things.
As far as I tell, we still live in a world of scarcity, and as far as I could tell, that's not going to change anytime soon. And so long as we live in a world of scarcity, prices will always be the best and most efficient way of allocating scarce resources in a free market society of private property ownership.
That's the problem. That's the problem. You think the free market is somehow capitalist, even though it's not necessarily that. So
Okay, let's establish definitions.
if I were to
before we
represent broad socialist, then I could easily say that the free market is just the free market.
All right, I would define capitalist, and correct me if you have a different definition that you would go by. I would define capitalist simply as private control of capital, free enterprise economy.
Okay, so you have two definitions there: private ownership and free enterprise. So free enterprise is not something that we're necessarily against. It's just that we just never realized it the other way around. Although we have actually.
Capitalists
We have free enterprises in China that's owned by the state still. So I don't know what you mean. But
it's not free enterprise.
It is. Like
China is kind of China is its own system. I think there should be some new name, some new label for whatever is the Chinese
fascism.
It's called socialism.
I wouldn't.
Except Chinese socialism is very
controlling the means of large portions of the means of production. Then I wouldn't disagree with you on that. But then you could argue
Chinese socialism is very different, however, from Soviet socialism.
In terms of methodology,
China heavily integrates market economics more and more, especially since Mao died. In China, they are primarily propped up by international capitalism, where the state will functionally own a business. It can be an enterprising individual who does stand to gain for themselves by starting that business. They simply have to do it through the state, and then the state is functionally the owner of it. And then that business can, say, produce things and then, export them and turn a profit. So that's very different from how it worked in the Soviet Union. In the Soviet Union,
it was more command economy. Yeah. It was more command economy. I was just saying what you were going to say.
Okay, so listen, we're trying to understand the contradictions within the capitalist system and try to resolve it through innovative means, socially innovative means. And China has found its own way. You can agree with it, you can disagree with it, but you can't disagree with the fact that they have really strong ideological foundations of dialectical materialism. They applied the three laws of dialectical materialism along with the dialectic method. I
have no idea what you're talking about.
Rigorous manner. Like they're making it very rigorous. They're not based on superstition like America is. So they're not like, oh well, I feel good about like the orange man, so I'm just gonna vote for the orange man. I want a woman president, so I'm just gonna vote for this woman that has no other quality other than being a woman and a minority, so I'm just gonna vote for her. Like, it's pointless. It's kind of stupid in what's going on in America.
I don't disagree with you on that.
If you mean to say that communist states founded by ideologues have a lot more coherent of an ideology underpinning their policies than, say, just the nonsense we have in America of the Republican Democrat duopoly, where there's no consistent principle underlying the views and policies of the respective parties. It's just kind of a cluster of policies and red team, blue team. That's absolutely true. I don't think that's really an argument in favor of communism. It's true that it is. In the same sense, you could say National Socialism, for instance, also had a coherent ideology underpinning its policies, and those policies naturally stem from that ideology. We can't really say this about Republicans and Democrats.
Also,
problem is
us
that
Ancaps, we're against all forms of statism, so you're not going to hear much praise from us for the United States government or how it runs its system. We're against all forms of statism.
Well, if you're ANCAP, you're halfway there, to be honest. Like, all you need is a bit like a paradigm shift, and you'll become a socialist, actually.
So
at
what do
least
you
you're
think
thinking about
the
things
main
that-
differences is between, like, that you feel the different, like, what do you feel? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was like, what do you think is the most you disagree with us on?
I think the thing that I disagree with you the most on is the idea that like a person can own, like, let's say a factory in like Guatemala using a piece of paper, and there's no state. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think like people can like generate passive profits, even if you're
Now,
not
wait a minute.
president.
I'm not sure what.
Are you saying that you don't want that, or are you saying that in the absence of a state it couldn't happen?
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a
it
good
couldn't
question.
happen. Yeah, it's both couldn't happen, and it's also socially and like undesirable. But like, since it couldn't happen, I don't think that's a problem. Yeah.
But there have been stateless societies. I don't know why this is so frequently overlooked. There have been stateless societies, and within most large-scale stateless societies, I don't mean communes, but larger ones, such as Zambia, as well as much of the American Old West, and medieval Ireland, medieval Somalia, there was no
Prospero.
rule that... Say it again?
Oh, I was going to say Prospero, and that's in Honduras today.
I'll have to look into that. I don't know anything about that one.
Oh, no? I'll send you a video. I got you.
I don't. Well, anyway, in the ones that I just listed, though, at least, and
Yep.
these are very large-scale societies, unequivocally stateless, there was no such rule that you could not own means of production, that you're not the personal, you could say, worker on. For instance, in medieval Somalia, it was very common that a rancher was not necessarily the one doing the work on the ranch. He would have a whole bunch of ranch hands, and maybe he's one of them, maybe he isn't. Very similar is true of medieval Ireland, and actually also of the American Old West. In Zomia, it was usually within the family, but not necessarily. They did recognize, they didn't, in those societies, have any distinction of like private property versus personal property. They did uphold property rights, and what you would call private property was unequivocally upheld. Property in land, property in cattle, and so on.
Well, you can have like personal property, but like to own, let's say, a factory is different than owning like a iPhone or whatever.
I understand what Marxists describe as the distinction between personal and private property. I'm saying they haven't generally had that distinction in stateless societies, with the exception of intentional socialist communes.
Can I read a quote real
so
quick?
Like Spanish Catalonia and Aragon, that's one thing, because those were founded with the intent to create a socialist society. And so they did not respect private property rights. But when there isn't any ideological opposition to private property as an institution, then the tendency has been that you do have an upholding of private property.
So, to the argument that there's a difference between personal and private property, I just want to quote a section from my YouTube video. and that also quotes Peter Kropotkin. Even more telling is that the fact that not all socialists and communists agree with the personal versus private property distinction. In fact, one of the most famous anti-capitalist thinkers of all time, Peter Kropotkin, outright rejected it. In his book Conquest of Bread, Kropotkin criticized the idea that housing, clothing, and other basic necessities should be treated as personal property separate from the means of production. He pointed out that these things aren't just luxuries or comforts, they're essential to a worker's ability to be productive. As he put it, the civilized man needs a roof, a room, a hearth, and a bed. It is true that the bed, the room, and the house is a home of idleness for the non-producer. But for the worker, a room, properly heated and lighted, is as much of an instrument of production as a tool or the machine. It is where the nerves and sinews gather strength for the work of the morrow, and the rest of the workman is the daily repairing of the machine. So in other words, even Kropotkin, a guy who hated capitalism with, a lot, he understood that the distinction is ridiculous because pretty much everything that you use in your day-to-day life could be considered to be essential towards production, because if you didn't have those things, you wouldn't be able to work. So essentially a house, clothing, food, cars, and all things that would be considered to be personal property.
Okay,
Now-
let's go.
I'm unclear what did he propose as the solution to this?
He believed that the whole idea of this, he believed that all property should be abolished, and basically he was a anarcho-communist.
He was against. He wasn't just against private property. He was against
all
personal
property. No, he believed that personal property is private property because it's essential to the worker's ability to work. So if you don't have a house, you're not able to work. If you don't have a car, you're not able to get to work. If you don't have your clothes on your back, your toothbrush, your shower, all the things that would be considered to be personal property in your day-to-day life, if you didn't have those things, you wouldn't be able to work. Thus meaning it's just as essential as the production, the means of production when it comes to work. So he considered all like personal property to be just as much of a means of production as the factory and the machine. So yeah, and he was an anarcho-communist, and he hated capitalism, and he even understood that it's completely arbitrary. And that was for my YouTube video, by the way.
Okay.
You should watch it, by the way.
Might.
Not now, but
But
on your own time.
okay. I gotta go.
It was nice talking to you.
All right. Well, you have a nice night.
Wow, I think I destroyed him.
Yeah, that honestly, that was kind of sad.
I don't think he had anything to say to that.
And maybe it was the combination too, because a lot of socialists are very attached to the idea that without a state, you will necessarily have, worker control of the means of production, and that private property is dependent on the state.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So,
I provided empiricism, and you provided philosophy.
Mm-hmm. I really love that quote. Basically, the next part of it is like the so-called distinction between personal property doesn't really hold up if something is essential to a person's ability to live and work. It plays just as much of a role in production as any factory or a piece of equipment. Drawing a moral line between the two is again completely arbitrary. Wait, are you sure that you put in a name? Because
yes, I'm sure.
Are you sure?
I told you earlier.
Because
I told you earlier that it's 2 a.m. So
look, but you do realize that the rooms below us have their name changed. That would mean that somebody approved their name, but they didn't approve our name.
Wait a minute, what the?
So that means that you probably did it. Now, can you check to see if you put it in the right room?
I did do it, but now But now I don't see it. So here, I'm gonna set name. Talk to Ancaps. Who's this that joined us?
It's Sid Borman. Yeah, now I see it in the side
One
chat.
and only.
How you doing? It's how you doing?
Where do I know Sid
Oh,
from?
I'm one of those guys. I get around.
All right.
I feel proud of
wow.
myself.
Standing up is always weird in the aftermath of ketamine.
Are you doing K?
I wouldn't know.
I did some K earlier.
Yeah, fuck that shit. That shit's ass.
You don't like K?
Fuck no.
Ketamine or
Yeah.
is that K? Okay.
Yeah, so
when I
it's
was
cool-
younger,
you
when
could be a
people
cool
said
K. all the cool cats call it K.
when I was younger, when people said K, they meant K2. That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
I've never, but
Yeah,
I've never done ketamine
We're not
before.
We're not in
So,
jail, guy. We're not smoking spice.
well, I don't know. That's
Yeah,
I've
I
never
used to smoke
done
spice. When I
ketamine
was
before. So,
15 God, ketamine is awesome, but I used to smoke spice. That shit was horrible. I hated it. I became immediately addicted to it. But I fucking despised
I
it.
don't get that shit. Like when people are like, oh, I became, I tried cocaine, became immediately addicted. I smoked meth, I became immediately addicted. I used to be on cocaine for a while. I've done meth. But
well, each person's body sort of deals
Bro,
with things
why don't you
differently.
get defensive
it's a
stance?
certain kind of person that can, you take one hit and you're hooked. But at least in my experience, like people I know, I've
Defensive
never met anyone
stance?
like that.
I'm because I'm a DPS.
I mean-
Isn't it better for me to have berserker stance?
I wasn't hooked on heroin the first time I did heroin, and first time I smoked crack, I didn't keep smoking crack. In fact, I didn't smoke it again for years.
All right, can we move on from the drug conversation? What do you think about ANCAP, Sid?
I think it's goofy.
What will make you think that?
My interactions.
But
with
you
them.
need to get the 3 stances even if you don't tank.
Okay, we can't account for other ANCAPs.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're
you asked.
cool. We're cool.
I'm giving you my answer. That's my answer.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, what about the idea, like, regardless of other ANCAPs?
What would I need it for?
the
I'm not sure.
concept. What do you know of the concept?
I'll probably go buy it then.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. I was politically active in fucking 20 teens. I'm aware.
Could you give me like a TLDR?
Yeah, basically, attitude, big showing for corporations and individual/corporate rights. I just see it as
short level 10 quest.
Wait, I heard you were kind of choppy and cutting out for that, but I definitely heard pieces that are not part of the ANCAP view.
Sure. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's goofy. It's just goofy. I view it the same. I view it in the same light as socialism, communism. Like white ethnestatism, whatever that would be. Resegregation. I just kind of ball that up into the camp of like interesting conversations with things that are ultimately never going to happen.
There have been anarcho-capitalist societies, and I think what makes anarcho-capitalism a little different is that it doesn't require popular consensus to happen. I think it can happen just through a monetary shift. If enough people start using Monero, I think that leads us to anarcho-capitalism.
And that's the thing. It's like, oh, hey, we're hedging, this great ideological shift on, let's just say 40%. It can cause some kind of sway using Monero as their main currency. Like that's never gonna happen. And even Monero, that's a shitty currency.
What I'm imagining with Monero is some people using it, businesses and individuals using
I
Monero.
hear him that's breaking up.
It's him. Tax,
It's a
you're
certain
breaking
critical
up.
mass.
Jew, you're breaking up, dude.
I don't know what to do about that. I don't
I don't
really
know.
have any recourse.
We're just telling you.
Yeah.
We can't hear you.
Dude? Don't catch an attitude with us
I
because
think
can't afford the internet.
I think businesses would prefer to not pay taxes. Individuals and businesses would prefer to not pay taxes. Monero provides a means by which, with better systems, and we need better systems than we have for this, but with better systems, it could provide a means for which it becomes convenient, safe, and easy for people to just not pay taxes, which, regardless of their ideology, no one wants to pay taxes themselves. Even people who love government and taxes, they want somebody else to pay it. They don't, nobody.
Couldn't
You
just the
know, even
government
if you love
take
government
Monero
and
as taxes? Or couldn't they just be like, pay us this much money in Monero?
They in order to demand money from you, they have to see how much money you're making.
That would be impossible.
Okay, but,
I
but
see.
here's the issue with that, with this whole Monero thing. With the stroke of a pen, bam, we ban all crypto trading.
Yeah, ban it. That'll be about as effective as banning marijuana.
Yeah, like you
actually,
can't
let's-
just ban Bitcoin.
I'd say that's a silly analogy because, when marijuana was banned, a lot less people were doing it. It was a lot more harder to source. It was a lot more harder to find, and so it took a certain kind of person with a certain kind of gumption to go out there and actually get that bag. The same thing with alcohol, same thing with guns, same thing with cocaine, same thing with with cryptocurrency or whatever they
Wait a
ban.
minute.
I mean,
Wait a minute. Usage rates of usage of drugs are not sharply lower where drugs are illegal than where they're legal. Likewise, during alcohol prohibition, there was not a significant decrease in rates of usage. Guns are not in very high demand in places like Europe.
The rate of alcoholism in America before prohibition and after is, in the short term, prohibition didn't work, but in terms of lowering the rate of alcoholism among the average American, it was quite successful.
That's correlation. That correlation. Correlation doesn't equal causation.
Hold on. What? How are you defining quite successful? I don't remember the figures involved, but I seem to remember it was a modest decrease.
Well, yeah, the average American went from drinking around a gallon and a half of whiskey a week to around a half gallon. There's still a lot, but you're cutting out that extra gallon.
That seems to be sharper than I recall. I mean, even if making alcohol illegal made people drink less alcohol, I would still say we should still have alcohol legal as well as marijuana, because the usage of alcohol doesn't really violate anyone's rights.
I wouldn't say so. No, I'm somebody who's been smoking weed since I was like 12. No, I don't think drugs should be legal. I always hate these people who always go on and on. It's like, oh, we do legalize drugs. No, because like I said before, people, especially with drugs, right? And I feel like I'm qualified to talk about this field as someone who's done a lot of drugs. People who seek out drugs are a certain kind of person. Something that went wrong somewhere along the way. Rarely is it ever someone who things are going right, and they're like, hey, I'm gonna smoke crack, or I'm gonna do meth, or this, that, or the other, or even weed. But so when you have that barrier of entry of having to know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy, 15 chains removed from the big guys down south, having that barrier of entry is good because it sways away a lot of normies. It sways away from people who, if they did get a hold of that marijuana, that crack, that heroin, that meth, they take one hit and it'll fuck up their life. Absolutely.
Everybody knows where to get drugs. You can go to the hood. It's pretty easy.
Oh well. Some people are fortunate enough not to live around blacks.
Right, but you can go to where they are. And nowadays you just go on the dark net. You don't even need to know a guy anymore.
But even though that's a barrier of entry, you gotta have that link. You gotta have a wallet.
That's like saying going to the store is a barrier to entry to get chocolate.
Getting yourself onto the dark net in order to go.
Hold on. There's a lot of barriers to entry to getting chocolate. No, there's not.
No. I said, hold on, listen. You didn't hear what I said. You didn't hear what I said.
It is easier to get drugs than chocolate. It is easier to get drugs than going to the store and buying chocolate. Okay. Setting up an account on a darknet market, that is downloading Tor browser, Googling darknet market links, an obvious search term like that, finding the market links, which will be very high up in the results, and then creating a Bitcoin wallet or Monero wallet and setting up an account on a market of your choosing.
You're cutting out again.
That process is easier than driving a shorter.
You're cutting out again.
Getting yourself
now.
You're cutting out again.
So is quicker and easier than driving to a store. Getting yourself drugs on the darknet is quicker and easier than driving to a store.
You gotta wait for, assuming that you didn't get either scammed or you're a part of some kind of fucking honeypot operation. You still gotta wait a week and a half for that fucker in the Netherlands or Czechoslovakia or wherever the fuck to ship you, your dope.
Yeah, but that's not a barrier to entry.
And then you're counting on it not getting caught, and then you're counting on it not getting caught up through customs. And then even if it's internally, they can still fuck you over. I used to work for the post office. They're very good. The USPI is one organization.
It's not true. Most drugs that go to the post office go through, as well as the TSA.
That's definitely true. Personally, I've done a great many darknet transactions. I have had the only ones I've ever had intercepted were ones where I was ordering something from out of country, and it's a particularly lazy vendor with poor stealth, where they have low stealth ratings from somebody in the Netherlands or something or India maybe. I've never once had a package intercepted going domestic.
Yeah, I mean, most people aren't going to do fucking some mystery dust or a pill or a tablet that you got from fucking India that you paid 0.0023 Bitcoin for. You know what I mean?
It's not that they have to. It's that they know someone who orders it in bulk from the darknet or something. The darknet greatly enhances the degree of people knowing a guy, you could say.
Well, fundamentally, the point that I think taxation was trying to make is that this whole idea that there's a whole huge barrier to entry to buying drugs is just a myth. Anyone could buy drugs if they have the know-how. It's not really that hard.
Well, let it be a myth then. I don't think everyone should be doing drugs.
I think you should be allowed
not everyone
to.
Needs to be high.
I think everyone should be allowed to.
We have much worse rates of drug addiction post prohibition of drugs than we did before they were illegal. Before they were illegal, now granted, I realize it's culturally different and so on, but it was once commonplace that you could go into a general store and buy cocaine.
Yeah, but also blacks didn't have voting rights. Women couldn't vote when you were allowed to go. You can go down to Pappy's general store and get some cocaine gum and some opium tonics and shit.
I'm not understanding what point you're making with that.
Well, it was before the automobile. It was before mass communication. It was such a different time. You might as well be talking about a black powder rifles compared to AR-15s or AK-47s. It's such just an apt comparison because of just how different the world was and functioned back then.
Well, either
Personally,
way,
I carry a Colt 1860 Army.
Either way, even if you talk about the drugs themselves, I would argue that the drug war.
Okay, Makarov.
I would argue that the drug war causes more death. Causes more death than any of the drugs themselves. If you look at the amounts of people who are shooting.
Talking points. Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you look at 90% of the drug crime. I mean, the gun crime in the United States, it's gang on gang violence. Why do you think they're shooting at each other? They're shooting at each other.
Who's doing that crime?
It's not about the skin color. It's about the issue.
Why are they? Doesn't matter.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. Listen to me. Can you let me finish my point, please? And I'll let you finish yours. So the issue is that the reason why a lot of them are shooting at each other at these large rates is so that they can protect their territories in which they could sell illegal drugs and as well as engage in other illegal activities. If another drug cartel or gang sells on another person's turf, they don't have any legal route or arbitration to settle their disputes. So they use guns to shoot at each other. when you see pharmaceutical selling drugs that are just as bad, how often do you see how often do you see pharmaceutical companies shooting at each other over disputes? They don't. The reason why is because their drugs are legal.
Okay, and
Yeah, you could cut down dramatically on violent crime with drug legalization. You could also cut down on property crime. You know,
Yep.
the drugs would be a lot
That-
cheaper.
no,
so-
We are
that's
inadvertent.
retarded. That's still
You do
gonna-
realize.
That's still gonna, I'll let you finish. That's
Sorry.
retarded because I live in a state that where weed was legalized, and there's still a massive big black market for bootleg products or even just homegrown shit. Like all you're doing is
because of the
making it easier.
regulations
and the
honestly,
taxes.
and honestly, I know you're gonna hate this, but you honestly make it easier to get into the arms of children because this kind of thing leads to further innovation. I'd say specifically with just cannabis. Within the past decade, there's been massive advancements in ways in which people can get high on cannabis, and weed's stronger than ever. We have all these potent oils and tinctures and shit, and it's so discreet and so easy. You can go to a weed dispensary right now, if you're 21 and up, and get a fucking disposable vape with THC oil.
This guy does not know
I
what
got a
he
high
is talking
tolerance, so
about.
I could hit that shit all day. But for your average Joe
Sources,
schmo,
please.
maybe takes a hit of grass, once every 6 months. It's gonna knock his socks off, and it's so discreet and so easily. Motherfucker. I mean, it's the same thing with cigarettes and shit. I mean, vapes. By legalizing it, you just make it easier for people to get fucking high. And which I don't think there should be that. I think being high and engaging in that behavior should be challenging. That's what makes it fun. That's what builds the culture. Is that not this easygoing bullshit?
So here's the issue
Bill's
with what
gang
you said.
culture.
So you basically made the argument that legalizing marijuana has there's still crime, but the issue is you only legalized one of the drugs, but you didn't legalize any other.
Oh yeah, we got to legalize all of them.
Hold on.
For this
Yeah,
to work.
obviously for it
It's
to
worth
work,
pointing
you have
out
to.
It's worth pointing out they didn't really legalize weed.
No, they didn't.
That is to say, in places where weed is ostensibly legalized, it's state cartelized. You have a handful of players that leverage limited licensure and similar regulatory shit to just utterly dominate the market, and so they have inflated prices. There's still a natural market entry.
The state basically puts in regulation to make it basically say
an ounce of weed for $30.
Where?
All right, Pacific Northwest.
I've bought weed from stores in
but
Seattle.
can you buy heroin from the store? Can you buy meth from the store?
No, obviously fucking not.
Okay, so if you can't do that, hold on. So if you can't, hold on. I'm asking my question. I'm asking you a question. So obviously from that, because it's illegal to buy meth, to buy heroin, to buy crack, and all of these other drugs, right? There's a black market in those industries, and any person that buys drugs, or anytime that you make drugs illegal, you are inadvertently funding terrorist organizations, mafias, and criminal organizations that rig elections all around the world. The reason why that is because when you ban, hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. No, obviously, because there's, hold on. So that's a different. Can I finish? So obviously, when you're talking about drugs, right? When you make drugs illegal, a perfectly a consensual transaction between two adults illegal that basically incentivizes people who are willing to violate the law to sell in that industry, thus basically leaving it the only people who are willing to sell drugs are criminal organizations, terrorist organizations, and mafias. So whenever you make it illegal and the only persons who are selling it are those organizations, you inadvertently make it so that the only people who can profit off of that industry are those illegal markets. Thus, if it was legal, the people who would profit off of those industries would be peaceful businesses in the open market.
Yeah, sure. You can have your legal cocaine, fucking or heroin, dispo.
Well, how often do you
But that's
see
still gonna wreak
dispensaries
havoc.
shooting at each
Yeah,
other?
I let you finish, guy. It took a second, but I let you finish. But when you have the legal cocaine dispo or the legal heroin or the legal meth or whatever, I mean, we already have legal meth. It's called Adderall or Tetroxin. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
when you have that, you, I love how you're pretending like you're like doing people participating and engaging with these substances on a regular basis doesn't have some sort of net negative social consequence to it for the broader community. It isn't just two adults making a transaction. It's not like someone buying a fucking car on Facebook Marketplace. No, this guy's engaging in doing drugs. He's doing some kind of substance that's fucking up with his brain to some capacity where he's out on the sidewalk screaming, shouting, robbing people to get his fix or whatever. And
That would
then
still
all of
be
a sudden,
illegal.
that so huh?
If somebody uses drugs and violates another person's rights, we still believe that that should be illegal. It's just the fact that if you are using a drug
I
or
think you
buying,
violated that man's rights by giving him the drugs to begin with.
but what if the person accepts it and is okay with it and is
So what? So the fuck what? I mean, what if that 15-year-old girl you shot a sex tape with wanted it?
Children can't consent, so there's a difference. But with adults, when you have
Why
adults,
can't they? Why can't they?
ask your mother. So when
I
you're talking
mean,
about
people
when we're
got
talking
married.
about
the
adults,
social
when we're
standard for marriage
hold on, can you
changed
let me
quite a
finish?
bit
Can you let me
since the
finish? Can you
1930s.
let me finish?
A lot of people got married when they were quite
Listen,
young.
if you
I mean,
if you
it's
want to
quite
if you want
common
to justify
for
having
felon
sex with
employees to have
listen, if you want to justify having sex with children, go speak to somebody else. I'm
No,
talking about a different conversation.
in for a penny, in for a pound. Fucking.
Hold on, can I
know,
finish my explanation now? To get back to the actual contents of the conversation, which is about drugs. So fundamentally, if you're an adult and you make a decision to inject or put any sort of drug into your body, so long as there's no coercion going on, that is a consensual transaction. Would you disagree? Is that not a consensual transaction?
I don't know. Whatever Jewish word magic you want to use, it's whatever.
I mean, I can't see how it would be otherwise. I mean, there's no one forcing them. I mean, would you say that smokers don't choose to smoke cigarettes because they're kind of addicted to cigarettes?
I wouldn't say anyone's really addicted to anything other than, let's say, alcohol or benzos.
All right, well then, in place the alcohol or benzos, let's say would you say that alcoholics still choose to drink alcohol?
No.
Well, what would make you think that? I mean, it may be a harmful choice, or it may be a choice that is influenced by their addiction. I'll admit that, but it's still a choice nonetheless, right?
Sure. Okay. Let's. I kind of want to dovetail this into something interesting. I feel like you fellas might actually enjoy this.
All right.
How do you feel about drunk driving?
Legalize it.
Leave it up to the road owner.
Yeah, leave it up to the road owner.
See, I think that there should be a road network explicitly for people who you have to be intoxicated to use that road.
if you're a private property owner and this is just my ethical view. If you're a private property owner and you want to have that, then hey, have at it.
I don't think that would be very popular on the market amongst insurance companies.
Maybe except for with alcoholics or something.
Without what?
Maybe except for with alcoholics.
Of the drunk driving roads.
They approved our room.
There's no speed limit. There's no speed limit. There's a 6-foot ditch on either side that's filled up with water. Seasons permitting, and anything that happens on that road, it's your fault.
Maybe if you're like an
would you
alcoholic.
guys so, sir, are you guys in favor of importing a bunch of like third world immigrants, like people from like India or the Philippines or Indonesia or wherever, praying them out a CDL, a commercial driving license, and letting
Well,
them,
we don't believe
create
in
them?
driver's licenses at all, or at
Oh, so
least.
so you're fine with all these Indian dudes driving around the country just killing people because they don't know how to drive a semi
Well,
truck?
I'm not cool with them killing people.
Killing people. No.
No, I mean, but if you want to drive a
Now,
truck, I don't see a problem with that. If they know
you
what they're
could mean
doing.
two things when you say importing people. You could mean the government using tax money to literally import people, or you could just mean the government not getting in the way of people who just want to freely move.
What
And are funding.
I mean, would it be better if these Indian people chose to freely move here and then some shiesty corporation prints them out? I know you're not for it, but prints them out the certificate that says they know how to drive a semi truck, even though they don't. And then they go on to cause a fucking 17 car pileup with 15 people that end up dead and 30 injured.
I don't want people dying. Actually, that's too broad. I don't want people dying tragically in accidents.
Well, I mean,
don't
something.
think-
I mean, something like that's very easily preventable. Even if we have to have these foreigners, right? You have some sort of a program or something they go through, so they know how to operate this, piece of equipment that does take tact and skill and know how to actually use effectively and efficiently, and then operate it on public roadways. I know you're not a fan of, but still on public roadways of which everyone has to use without causing death and chaos.
I'll give you. I could extend you an olive branch. Let's say if you're a private property owner and you want to say we only want people who have been given a card, the go ahead from this driving accrediting agency to drive on my land or property or private roadways.
I mean, then what happens if said accredited agency is one of these shiesty places that just says, "Oh, hey, you got $1,500? All right, buddy.
They wouldn't get
here's your
much
tandem,
business.
here's your axles."
They wouldn't get
Then
much
the
business.
driver, then the insurance company of that road would not take it seriously,
Mhm.
and other drivers and businesses would not take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
the other drivers. Well, the other drivers that's just happenstance, right? You don't know who's going to be on the road if you leave your house and you got to drive 35 miles to go, where the fuck ever. You don't know who you're going to come across. The onus isn't on the driver. I think the driver has a reasonable expectation of safety that the other people on the road can operate their motor vehicle to sufficient capacity, as such as them, right?
generally speaking, if you take away, uniform driver's license requirements for everybody, I think people will pay a little more attention to what road has what requirement on it. My guess is that I think driver skill accreditation is probably, I'm not saying monopoly, but probably going to be kind of a natural oligopoly. That is to say, I don't think you're going to have 500 different driving accreditors that are equally present in the market or anywhere close. I think it's heavily reputation and momentum based, and so you're likely to have a handful.
So what? I mean, if you got your driving certificate from organization, let's just call it A, you're allowed to use any road, but let's say for whatever reason or circumstance you get your accreditation from B, organization B, that you're fine with people being limited on what roads they can be on.
Well, it's private property, so yeah, you can always restrict people from your private property.
I mean, technically, you're not allowed to drive on any road you want. I mean, even certain government roads restrict you from driving on them.
I think applying private property rights to roads actually solves a lot of problems with roads.
Yeah, I think the main issue with roads is the fact that we have in public. When you have something public, the people who are in control of that public good can sort of make arbitrary decisions on like one size fit all such policies, and because they're not owners of the land or and they don't get the benefits, and they also don't reap the losses, thus not really giving them as much of an incentive to keep it up to date. That's why there's so many potholes in public roads.
Just abolition of government ownership of roads and streets alone. Just get rid of public roads and streets. That by itself, I think, pretty much gets rid of ghettos.
No, it doesn't, because you're not getting rid of the people that inhabit them.
But you are getting rid of the tragedy of the commons that the government control of roads, plus obviously like projects and so on, creates.
It's not the government's fault that these people are the way they are, right? Sure, some ways.
Let's not move into the racial issues, if you don't mind.
No, I do mind, because this is like at the forefront. When you talk about all these issues, you keep referring to these things and kind of tiptoe around them next.
It's that I'm live on the internet and I don't want to.
Let me finish.
I don't know.
And you're acting as if by any sort of government oversight or erasure that involved with these communities is somehow going to wipe it away. No, you're just going to push these people off even further and further and further until you rope everyone into this low class rung where they mix and meld and become this like indistinguishable muck.
Not sure I understand.
Anyways, fundamentally, when you have privatization, you have more opportunities. When you have less regulations.
I find it weird. Isn't like racial calculation a part of like marketing and whatnot? Like, don't most corporations take that into account of whatever product they're trying to sell?
Why do you keep taking this back to race? Why do you care about it so much?
Because I'm a racist.
Yeah, but I don't really care about it. So that's why I keep
good for
moving
you.
on.
I don't care about fucking government regulation or this, that, and the other.
Then why are you in the ANCAP room? Why don't you join the racist room?
I'm looking for I'm having an interesting conversation. I entertained several points from you. I'm just raising one, and then you're kind of
because I'm live streaming on the internet and I don't want to talk about it. And this is our room.
I'm not dropping anything crazy. I'm not saying we need to kill all of these people or anything like that. I'm not saying throw them back in chains or something.
Yeah, but I don't really care about it.
There's an obvious issue here, and then
that's beautiful. You could go talk to people who care about it. You could go. You're more than welcome to talk about that issue with other people who care about it.
Libertarians and Ancaps and whatnot, because it's just cowardice. It's like the ultimate.
If you want to talk about racial issues and all that stuff, you're more than welcome to go to another room and hang out with Nick Fuentes lovers.
Capitalist wet dream. But
yes, we don't want to be robbed by the state.
Yes, amongst people. Don't notice anything.
I'm not saying not to notice it. I'm just saying I don't care about it.
Sid, it's a little different because we're doing a live stream on YouTube and shit right now. And, so it's got to be like YouTube. We got to keep it YouTube kosher.
Yeah. I'm media trained. I'm not saying anything crazy. Like I said, I'm not saying kill all these people. I'm not saying throw them in chains. I'm not saying that these people are less than. I'm not saying that they're not equal to. I'm just saying that there's problems.
I muted him on my end, so... Isn't World of Warcraft such a great game?
What? What do you mean get the live stream taken down? What are you talking about?
I have him muted, so.
I don't know how strict YouTube is.
I have him muted on my end.
That doesn't seem to track. I don't see why it would violate YouTube terms and shit to like just go to the hood. All right, here. I told guy Sid Borman, I'll talk to you about this another time. But this is my room.
Oh my!
Here, hold on. How do I even? All right,
You could click.
all right, Sid.
Click
Like I
his-
said, I'll talk to you another time. What?
You could just click his name and press mute.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh.
I figured he would probably leave quickly.
Thanks.
I was trying a little bit after you left. I was trying to kind of have his discussion with him.
Nah, you can have that on your own time. It's just when I'm on the live stream, I
That's-
try to avoid
I
racial
realize
anything
that's-
racial. Anything
I-
racial is a taboo.
What's up, Calico?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Teleco, what's going on?
Nothing much.
Are you an ANCAP?
What's that?
Or not yet. So not yet. All right. So ANCAP is short for anarcho-capitalist. Anarcho
Oh.
means the anarchy, like there's no government, no state.
Yeah, I just know what
Capitalist,
ANCAP
like-
is. I know what an anarcho-capitalist is.
Huh? Wait, are you an
What do you
ANCAP?
think? I think not yet, because he didn't know what it was. He didn't remember what it was a second ago, so that would seem to imply that he's not.
Probably not yet.
Yeah, anarchist-capitalist is a lot different pronunciation than ANCAP.
But do you know what it is
Well-
at least?
What?
Do you know what it is at least, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't really like it. Yesterday. I debated a natural law theorist. It went very well for me. Yeah. I mean, I think they have good intentions, but
No, it didn't.
no, they don't have good intentions.
No, it didn't go very well for you.
But you did. Were you
What?
debating him? That's why. Were you the one debating him?
Oh, I was debating you. My bad. I was
What?
going off the shrooms of not sleeping for like 25 hours.
Oh yes, birds of the same feather flock together. And we
That
are
sounds like my behavior. Shit.
been on a binge, huh? A bit of a binge.
A binge? I've never heard of a shrooms binge. You eat some shrooms and you trip, and then
No,
the
they're
trip is
like
over.
regular
You use it
mushrooms. They're bellas.
I don't even
portobello.
know.
What? Wait, what? You've been neglecting your sleep because you just can't stop eating portobello mushrooms?
What are those? Not like the ones that get you high, or there's something else?
No, those are just like the shit from the grocery store that you'd make like stuffed mushrooms or like put on a pizza or something.
No.
I made a beef Wellington out of chicken.
Why would that make you stay awake?
You know
Is it
what's
like
actually-
caffeine in it or something?
You know what's actually crazy fucking good? So I went to I picked up an Uber order a while back from a Mellow Mushroom. It's a pizzeria. It's a phenomenal pizzeria. And I asked if they had any spares, you know, any pies that never got picked up or something. And they did. They gave me a whole pizza. And which means I don't get to choose what's on it. It's just whatever they have that someone never picked up. So it was shiitake mushroom and garlic aioli. I never in a million years would have thought to order that. I would have never ordered that. But I ate it. It was the most delicious pizza I've ever had in my life.
Oh, I ordered water once. It tasted like water.
I would imagine. Ideally, I would imagine it would taste like water.
My car is like absolutely cooked, and I have a 30-hour drive to like next week.
I hate when I order a water and then what they bring, it tastes like it's like 90% water and 10% piss.
You know what they say? If you drink water, you
Urinate.
drink water. That too. think I'm locked out of almost half of the rooms in this in the current population.
What did you do?
In the
Let's see. Let's go one by one. Well, not half, but I think around 4. I'm locked out of the talk to liberal one. Because I recorded and posted one of the guys named Cracked in that one, and he got really upset. Oh, they ask about Islam one. The Oxy guy doesn't like me because I called him out saying the N-word at time. Debate a progressive. Oh yeah, Vega, I remember that guy. I kind of just embarrassed the fuck out of him because he didn't even know what anatomy was, and he was trying to debate abortion. I think that's it, yeah.
Why would you need to know anatomy to debate about abortion?
Because I think you should know at least some basics about anatomy and prenatal development if you're going to debate abortion.
Wouldn't that only be the case if you're taking kind of an in-between position of like it depends what stage of development the baby is at or something? Whereas if you're somebody that says either all abortion, up to the point of birth is okay, or that no abortion from the point of conception is okay. Like those I guess extreme positions don't seem to require anatomy knowledge. It would just be some kind of in
I mean, you
between
don't
that does.
have to, but if you want to be at least a decent abortion debater, you should. Because even if you're debating somebody who's like, we want abortions till birth, you need to know, when they define personhood, if they talk about sentience, consciousness, brain development, connections, and stuff like that, the actual science behind it, which, I mean, you don't even have to try very hard if you just know. If you just study like 10 minutes, you probably will know more than the average abortion debater.
Personally, I don't incorporate personhood in my view on it. It's just not relevant to me. I treat the fetus from the time they are conceived as a full human with the same rights as an adult. It's simply that no adult has the right to linger in somebody else's body past the point of welcome.
So you
I
only
take
value it once it's a fetus?
Say it again?
So you only value it once it's a fetus?
I'm not quite sure what you mean. What, as opposed to just like an embryo or something?
Yeah.
When the sperm meets the egg.
I'm comfortable saying by fetus I meant, pre-born. Everything between conception and birth. I was abbreviating with fetus.
100%.
So from the point of conception, I think they have the rights of an adult. It's just no adult is entitled to access someone else's body. So the conclusion of the evictionist stance, which is a common libertarian view on it, is that
I love that one.
the mother can remove the baby at will. She can't kill the baby. That is to say, if the baby is removed and then they kill it on the table, like that would be murder. And that does happen sometimes. If there's no way to save the baby's life in the process of removal, then I think ultimately she's still entitled to remove it if she wants. But she can't shoot the baby. She can't strangle the baby. It's not like the baby just doesn't have a right to live. The baby has the same rights she does.
Can't commit an abortion, which would involve mutilating the child inside of the womb and then pulling it out one by piece with piece, basically.
Well, yeah, I want your guys' opinion on the scenario, okay? So, if we're equating, and I'm pro-life, I want to make that clear first. If we're equating, embryo to full adult human, let me give you this example. So we have 10,000 embryos, okay? They're currently in mother's womb. They will all be going to term. But according to the Mayo Clinic and other sources, actually, when it's in the embryonic stage to term, it actually has about a 50% chance of coming to term. So effectively, by choosing to save these 10,000 embryos, you'd only be saving about 5,000 people. Now, let's say on the right side, you have 10,000 already born adults. Which side would you choose?
You said 10,000 already born adults
I don't
versus
understand.
2,000 embryos?
Hold on, it would be
No, versus
consistent to
10,000
answer either of
embryos.
them. It would be consistent to answer either of them.
Wait, could you explain the hypothetical again for
notice.
me? I wasn't listening. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. So on your left-hand side, you have 10,000 embryos.
Mhm.
With the science we currently know, we're assuming that this is in the first week. Only about 50%.
Is that after the sperm has
to be
met the egg?
generous. Sorry,
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm
Yes,
not very
Robert.
well versed on all that. So go ahead.
Sorry, what was your
Continue.
question?
No, I was just asking if it was after the sperm meets the egg, but he answered. Go ahead. Continue.
No, it's not.
No, it's not after the sperm meets the egg.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
The
I don't know if you
embryo?
heard
Is
that.
an
After
embryo-
the embryonic stage, or
Embryo. And what you're talking about.
Embryo is
it
after
would not.
after sex.
It would not. No. It wouldn't. There's a week after fertilization when it's not in the embryonic stage because it hasn't implanted yet. So this is where I would be talking. The embryonic
Yeah,
stage is
but
between
Griffith
2 and 8
was asking,
weeks.
he was asking, is it before or after the conception?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is about 2 days after conception while it's still
Okay.
growing.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, so once again, you choose the 10,000 embryos, you know, and from an omniscient point of view, you know only about 5,000 will come to actually be born, and then you have 10,000 already born adults. Which one would you choose?
So it's
Um,
10,000, pre-fetuses, basically, versus 10,000 adults. And
I would probably
in
pick
reality,
the adults because they're like already alive, whereas like the children are gonna die or like have a likelihood to die, so it would be like less bad. But I would say either way would it be a rights violation because, it's like a lesser of two evils. You're not causing that.
it's
Yeah, I mean,
kind of
I
like
think-
this is almost like you can save 10,000 regular people or you can save 10,000 cancer patients.
Yeah. Like there's a higher likelihood
I would
those people are
actually
gonna
use
die.
comparison, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good comment. Yeah.
Except for you wouldn't be saving the 10,000 cancer patients because, you know, they would not be saved.
With a
They're
gun
probably
to their
gonna die
head. Like
very
somebody-
soon after.
So which one do you guys change? Would you do them interchangeably? Would you do one and another?
I mean, from our standpoint, obviously they're all humans. They all have rights. But if you're
Correct.
if you're telling us like to choose one or the other, then we have no choice but to pick like make a consequentialist situation. Like, well, I guess depending on like your viewpoint, like obviously I would assume like the other guys would probably want to reduce the amount of people who die. So like whichever one would like probably lead to the least amount of people dying is probably the one that we're probably gonna choose.
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
I just like to ask the other pro-lifers that question to see, you know, the consistency, because I think it's important that when we talk about person and stuff, that it doesn't define value, and we differentiate what we could call functional value from
Mhm.
more. So are you all anarchist capitalists?
Yes, you are in the ANCAP room,
Oh, dubs.
and you're on my YouTube channel too.
Oh, dubs. You're on mine too.
Oh, really? Cool. Anything else you wanted to ask us, or?
How do you guys feel about Canada?
Ass.
Canada?
Canada.
That shit's ass.
I mean, it seems like a cool place to go hunt. Like I was forgetting about the government and shit. You know, like just like the
Yeah.
land. The land is cool.
Pretty cool, yeah. Just stay away from the corpses on the street and stuff, and I'll be all good.
Corpses on the street.
Yep.
What?
Oh yeah, you can Google it. East Hastings on Vancouver, Toronto on Memphis.
I hate their socialized
there's literal
healthcare.
corpses. It's not.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's pretty much socialism healthcare.
What?
I can't deny it.
Why are you saying there are corpses on the street? I don't understand.
Because there's corpses on the street.
Why
I don't
are
think
there-
that was pretty self-explanatory.
What happened?
That's a question you and the liberal government should take up about legalizing drugs.
Legalizing drugs is good,
Canada
bro.
did not leak. Canada did. Okay, you don't mean corpses. You mean like dope fiends.
No, like actual dead corpses.
Canada didn't legalize
what the-
drugs.
What do you say?
Canada didn't legalize
Yeah.
drugs.
No, there's a lot of them that are currently fully legal. OTCs are completely legal to self-prescribe. There's the Cannabis Act too, so you can legally buy it at any store. I could walk in right now to a cannabis store 8 minutes away from me and just buy as much as I would like. Um, Doctors also
Yes.
have to.
So
If
there's all those corpses on the street from all those cannabis overdoses, right?
I don't know. There's still a lot of opioid use issues too with fentanyl and methamphetamines.
That doesn't imply legalization, though. Generally speaking, you
Yeah.
have a lot more overdoses with prohibition than you do with legalization.
Oh no, there is legalization. There's a pilot program currently in BC where you can actually get certain small amounts of hard drugs like cocaine, meth, and MDA, up to like 5 grams, and you can just use it whenever you'd like.
Yeah, but that's not legalizing it. That's just decriminalizing it. We want to legalize it.
I mean, you can legally just go and just get hard drugs.
That doesn't even sound like decriminalizing. That just sounds like a state monopoly, basically.
Yeah.
And I would assume, I would guess, and I could be way off here. Maybe I shouldn't overestimate government. I would assume that, not that I support that program, mind you, but I would assume that what heroin you're getting from the government is probably
Shit would
not
probably
like
be
laced with
ass.
fentanyl and shit. Now, I'd rather you just be getting it from fucking Walgreens.
Oh no,
But-
they literally list it on their own FDCA website. They give them cocaine, meth, and MDMA.
No, we're talking when we say legalization, we don't talk about the government giving people drugs. We're talking about allowing people to buy and sell drugs, either at a store, gas station, or whatever it is. And the issue and the reason why we believe that'll make things better is because when you make drugs illegal, it creates a black market that incentivizes. When you make it illegal, that incentivizes people who commit crimes to go out and sell those drugs. And whenever the demand is the same, but the supply is lower than it would be otherwise, the price goes up. Not only that, when it's illegal, the risk factor goes up, which increases the drugs cost. That increases the profithood of selling drugs
Prophet
within.
Muhammad.
Prophet Muhammad. It would it increases the profits that could be sold within that area. That's why it's very profitable to sell drugs as opposed to getting a job or whatever. For some people.
Jobs.
Yeah.
right?
So if all of this was legal and you could buy it at a store, all of these companies would make the supply meet the demand, making the prices go down. Not only that, but like, when was the last time you ever seen a pharmacy or just go into do a drive-by with another pharmacy? It's probably never happened. The reason why is because they have a dispute, they could go to court. Gangs, they can't go to court. If they have disputes, they just shoot each other. So yeah, the issue isn't like people doing drugs. Obviously, people doing drugs is not good. I would say people shouldn't do drugs, but the black market, I think, causes a lot more damage than the drugs could ever do at this point.
Sithis, I have to nitpick a little bit. You said something I'm not sure is very true.
Sure, go
You
ahead.
said that the prohibition reduces the supply. I think what's more true is that prohibition reduces the pool of suppliers. But
Wait, I
that
also
the
want to add, sorry. I
let
didn't mean
me,
to keep
let
it.
me finish my point real quick.
Yeah, let him finish.
I think that the supply, I mean, I'm not saying it's exactly equal, but is probably more or less close to whatever the demand calls for. It's just that the number of suppliers involved in producing that same amount is by state fiat more cartelized, i.e., it's cartels.
I'm
rather
not sure.
than a
I'm not
large
sure I
number.
agree because I believe pharmaceutical companies, if allowed to, would be able to create drugs on a much larger scale than a lot of these cartels, if allowed to, and with the absence of patent laws and things like that, thus allowing the supply to meet
Right,
the
but you
demand
would
at
have-
such greater demand, and thus allowing the cost of these drugs to go down. The only reason why the cost of these drugs are really high isn't simply just because of the risk. It's due to the restriction that if you restrict any drug, you inevitably lower the amount of people who sell it, thus lowering the not allowing the supply to meet the demand?
I don't think we have a shortage of drugs. I think that we have
the demand is certainly not the supply is not meeting the demand. Certainly, that's why it's more expensive when it's illegal.
Let's suppose, just forget drugs for a second. Let's suppose there are 100 hamburgers, right? And scenario A is that those 100 hamburgers are being sold by 2 different burger sellers. Scenario B, there are still 100 hamburgers.
Now you with your autism, you just push that guy away from what we could have been explaining to him how drugs should be legalized, and now you scared him away because you wanted to be autistic about something that really doesn't matter.
What I did wrong.
I'm just saying it doesn't really matter. You know, this small little hypothetical. Now we kind of pushed away somebody who could have heard us out.
All right. Guess I'll keep my mouth shut.
No, it's. I mean, you could say it now, but fuck. Now the guy left. Now that the guy left.
Scenario A: there are 100 burgers in total supply. There are 2 sellers of the 100 burgers. Scenario B: there are 100 burgers in total supply. There are 50 sellers of burgers. I think that scenario A, even though the amount of burgers in circulation, or not in circulation, in supply, the amount of burgers in supply is the same, but I think scenario A, they will be far pricier than scenario B. Would you agree with that premise?
I would agree with the premise, but I don't think it matches on to what's going on right now, because pharmaceutical companies are able to create drugs en masse, which would be able to do it at a much more efficient rate than any cartel would be able to. So thus, if it was legalized, you would see the supply meeting the demand at a much more efficient rate, thus making the cost go much more down. Obviously, risk does play a factor, but I think it's definitely a supply meeting and demand issue as well. And I think the main reason why it's a supply and demand issue is because of the restriction that the state has put on. Although the state's restrictions aren't as effective as people make it seem, it does have it does affect to a certain degree that it does cause the cost of drugs to go higher. So I think it's a combination of risk as well as the supply not meeting demand. Now, how much of which is more than the other, I don't know. You know, I can't give you a number on that.
Fair enough. I think the only way we could really know is if we could somehow, well, maybe I'm wrong on this, that at least that this is the only way we could really know, but one way we could know is if hypothetically we were to somehow quantify the drug supply now, and then legalize the drugs, and then quantify that drug supply, which I assume would be far easier.
Assuming, and then like, if the demand is, assuming the demand is the same across on both sides, then you could probably make a good estimation. Yeah.
If upon legalization the production skyrockets, then you will have been proven correct.
I think the reason why I would think it's correct is because when you put a restriction on the drugs, some of the drugs are being made in other countries. They're being made in makeshift factories and stuff like that. They're not able to. They have to smuggle it in. So it makes it a lot harder for the supply to meet the demand than it would otherwise be if it was legal, thus making it more expensive. So I think that definitely makes a cause. Now, obviously, risk does play a part too, but I do think supply not meeting demand definitely is a kind of a factor there. Like, for instance,
okay, you know what could be.
You could actually like think of it like marijuana. Maybe if you like when we legalized marijuana, and the supply has
Evening,
now
boys.
met the demand.
How are you?
Marijuana has sort of become much more cheaper. So that would lead me to believe that the supply is meeting demand more readily than it would be otherwise.
Wait a minute. But you
WTH
agreed
are
with
you
my
taking
earlier
about?
point that
This guy does not know
fewer
what he is
suppliers,
talking about. Sources,
supply amount left alone, fewer suppliers selling the same amount of supply also would create a higher price.
But
That was the original point of the contention.
Sup?
But the issue is, I don't think that they're gonna produce You're considering. So in your situation, you're assuming that both sides are producing at the same rate. I just don't believe that I believe a pharmaceutical company will be able to outproduce cartels.
I'm not assuming they are. I'm not assuming they are.
Well, in that
producing at the same
scenario,
rate.
it is because they would have to be producing at the same rate. Assuming that you're saying that one is able to produce more than the other. If one is able to produce more than the other, which I would assume so with pharmaceutical companies, assuming there's no patent laws or anything like that, then I would expect them to create more.
I think whether or not we could call the demand for drugs satisfied depends on the drug.
Well, you could tell whether or not drugs are meeting demand for drugs is being met when the prices go down after it's been legalized. So the price of marijuana has gone down after it's been legalized, which means that there's more of a supply meeting the demand.
Wait, but it doesn't. It could just mean that the same supply, it could be the same amount, but the same supply is being sold by a larger pool of players.
Thus increasing the supply.
Risk involved.
Thus increasing the supply.
Increasing the supply, the number of suppliers doesn't necessarily mean increasing the supply. For example, let's suppose hypothetically that, all the drugs are legalized. I think big pharma and, Bayer and entities like that.
So let's put this real quick. If I put a gun to your head and I make it illegal for you and I say it's illegal for you to create oranges, you would say that there would be the same amount of supply meeting the same amount of demand for oranges as it would be if we didn't make it illegal?
At least potentially.
No, I don't think so, because fundamentally when you make oranges legal, people who would otherwise not sell it when it was illegal would go and sell it. Then you have more people in the market. And then you have more supply, thus meaning that there is more supply meeting demand, thus making the cost go lower.
Generally speaking, supply is downstream of demand. So the amount that gets produced, whether it's a legal market or an illegal market, the amount that gets produced corresponds with the amount that people will buy.
No, but that's just basic. But that's marginal utility. If you talk about marginal utility, when you the first slice of pizza that you eat when you're really hungry makes you excited, but the third one doesn't make you as excited because the more that you have, the less valuable it becomes. And the reason why that is when the supply of a good.
That's not exactly what marginal utility is. That's close. Marginal utility is more so that you will put slice one of pizza toward your most urgent usage.
That's what I just said.
Such as the eating of a slice. You will put your second slice of pizza towards your second most urgent usage, which might be.
That's what that's literally what I just said.
That's not exactly what you said. What you said is that you don't like the third slice as much as you like the first and second.
Obviously, you prefer the first slice of pizza. You like the first slice of pizza more when you're more hungry than the third or fourth slice after you've been satisfied by those first two slices. So each subsequent amount.
Marginal.
All right.
It's how you're using it. So, for example, let's say you consider it the most important that you eat a slice of pizza, and second most important that I get a slice too, and then third most important.
Yeah, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying, man. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Obviously, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. What I'm saying is that obviously when you have more of a supply of a good, and that means that and the more that you supply something to meet the demand, the less valuable that thing becomes. If the thing
Sure,
if the price of the value of that thing goes down, that means that the supply is meeting demand. That means that the price is going down. Once we legalize
It
things,
doesn't.
once we
Price going
legalize,
down can reflect. A price going down can reflect that you have a higher amount of the good in question being
that
for
means
sale.
the
That's true,
supply
but that's
is
not
meeting
the only
the
thing.
supply is meeting the demand, thus making the thing
Let
less
me get
valuable
my
than
notebook.
otherwise.
Didn't know this was Econ 101.
Obviously, right?
There are multiple reasons prices can go down. It can mean that you
So-
have a higher supply. It can mean that you have a lower demand, and it can
All
also
things
mean
being equal, the supply is going higher, but the demand is the same. Obviously, the price is going to go down because people will value more of the same
Yes.
utility. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes,
if the
that's
price
true.
okay, so if we legalize, so when we legalized alcohol during the Prohibition era, we saw an increase in the amount of the supply of alcohol, thus making the cost of alcohol go down, and a much higher variety of alcohol going around, making the supply meet the demand, and the price is going down. That's why alcohol goes down. The price has gone down over the
A
years.
higher number of suppliers does not necessarily mean a higher supply.
Oh my god, that's not what I'm saying, dude. You're not listening to me. If you listen to what I'm saying, why I'm saying the reason why the price is going down is because the suppliers are creating more to meet the demand, obviously.
That's one reason that prices go down.
Okay, so if the price of alcohol went down and there's more suppliers and there's more beer, that would obviously lead me to believe that because we legalize alcohol and the prices have been going down, that the supply has been going up to meet the demand, thus making it less expensive for each bottle or of alcohol.
It would also be possible, and I don't know which was the case when alcohol was legalized in America, but it is at least theoretically possible that it's the same amount of beer getting produced. It's just being
It's
produced
not.
by a larger number.
But no, incorrect. There's more beer being produced now than it was during Prohibition. I can assure you of that.
I'm sure that's true. Well, we have a much higher population now, so I'm sure
Okay,
that's
so
true.
I mean, even if we put the calculation, even if we were to account for population, I would be surprised if we had less
Where is
alcohol
this
today
chat
than
happening?
otherwise. I could put the link
It's
in the chat for
probably
you.
more now.
Okay.
And look, I
So-
already
so
conceded
when you-
much earlier that
So no, okay. So
Prohibition
obviously, when
did-
you create prohibition, you make this. But you were disagreeing with me that an increased that when you have prohibition, it sometimes lowers the supply,
Yes.
thus increasing the price.
I don't think it sharply lowers the supply, or at least certainly not
I didn't say
inherently.
sharply lowers the supply. I said that it lowers the supply. Than it would be otherwise.
Yes, but I think what plays a bigger effect on the price of drugs
Wait, taxation.
than the
Listen, it would be a lower. If we legalize alcohol, there would be less alcohol being produced in the United States than would be otherwise if it was legal.
Yes,
correct?
please do.
yes, that's not the only thing going
Okay.
on there, but yes.
That was my point. That was my only point.
Oh my god,
I'm saying there's-
economics is so boring.
Yeah, it's just such a stupid argument, honestly. At this point, I don't understand what you
You
don't
guys
get.
are running in circles, and oh my god, I hate debates. Like,
Yeah, it's making my brain hurt, honestly.
I could go for. I haven't smoked crack in forever. I could go for some.
That's good for you, man.
It would be better if he pinned
Got me-
link to chats.
got me thinking about
Just a
drugs.
thought.
I don't know how to fucking do that, bro. Pin link to chats. I don't even know how to
Pin
invite
link.
people to this fucking thing. It's saying I can't invite people. The maximum of a number is certain has been invite admin only
Yeah, I
manages.
saw that too.
Just go to the religion and politics Discord and fucking you'll find us in there. So yeah, biatch. Talking all that shit.
Like while we're waiting, Kent, isn't there like something we disagree on that we can like debate?
We were just doing that.
Yeah, right. Isn't there like something we disagree on that we can like debate?
We were just doing that.
Yeah. Or you guys were just running in circles. Didn't even see much.
I think Sithis. I think Belle Delphine is one of the hottest women on the planet.
Sydney Sweeney better.
Oh no, dude.
Sydney Sweeney better.
It's not even comparable.
They are comparable. I'm still saying
kidding?
Belle,
They
but
absolutely are comparable.
They're not. They're
are
not even in the
comparable.
same category. All right.
Sydney Sweeney better.
they are comparable. I would give it to Belle, but not by a huge margin. Sydney's pretty fucking hot.
Sydney Sweeney's
Highly
10
overrated.
out of 10. As well as what's her name? Ice Spice. Oh my god.
Hell no. I don't get you people.
I'm a Spaniard, bro. I like big booties.
Right.
And she's got a fat
Verify your phone number.
yacht.
Fuck that.
I like healthy booties.
Honestly,
I like
I'm not
Belle.
very picky, but if she got a fat one, that's definitely like a W.
Roflo.
Well, there's different ways a chick can have a fat ass.
Yeah. Asses come in all shapes and sizes, right?
Oftentimes, a fat ass means a fat breast of her. Especially in America. So how many teeth do y'all like your women to have?
Wait, what?
Or the normal amount.
How much teat?
How many teeth?
How many teeth? Yeah, like the normal.
That's
I
like
wanted to
that too,
have
that's
none. You know what I mean? I wanted to go in there smooth.
I like a chick with like a normal amount of teeth, like 32 or something.
Yeah.
How many
Hopefully.
teeth does Belle have? Hold on. Do I have a number? Can I find this somewhere?
How many teeth does she have? Oh my god, bro.
Go on,
Shit.
Holy
Go on,
shit.
like,
Doubt that
wiki-
information is out there.
go on Wiki Teeth.
Hey, yo, I'm scrolling through Facebook. Why is my algorithm so bad? It keeps showing me girls with fat booties. Look at this girl with a fat booty.
Oh! See, that's what you
There's
do when
only-
I'm degenerate.
There's only wiki feet.
It's not
There's no wiki
degenerate.
teeth.
I said fat booty. You be talking about
I
putting
was
shit up your
joking.
asshole.
I was joking about Wiki Teeth, but I know about Wiki Feet. I'm also a man of culture.
Wiki feet. What the fuck? You guys are into feet? I feel like it's the boringest part of the
Belle's
woman.
Belle's shoe size is 7.
Nice.
Bro, this shit isn't even stronger than what I already currently have.
Sometimes she's just saying things about that game and like super confused.
Sorry, I'm playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Kind of funny.
What kind of nonsense is this?
Blood and thunder. Strength. Go forth.
Oh, my quest log is full?
Strength and honor for the Horde. Loktar, go with honor. Dabu.
Razor Fen down. Oh, here it is. Over in Thunder Bluff. Oh, fuck me. Oh my god, all this walking in World of Warcraft, I know. At least I got to do a bit of a dungeon and finish that quest, so. Oh, and I'm level 32 as well, so let me go get my...
Why do I feel like I've heard the word dungeon today like 10 times?
Dungeon bastards! You ever heard Ghoul?
Weird
I love that band.
It's weird to hear the word dungeon as frequently as I've been hearing it today.
Bro, you're gonna get thrown in a dungeon.
Or using it, for that matter. I'm suddenly using dungeon a lot.
Dungeon.
Dungeon. You're going to get thrown in the dungeon. Ever listen to some dungeon synth?
So I guess dungeons in some buildings, they were like, they created a dungeon like before the building, or they decided there's going to be a dungeon before the building was even built. So they're like building buildings with torture in mind.
Dungeon synth. Let's see. It's this is I'm listening to some dungeon synth right now. Anyways, I don't really listen to dungeon synth, but that is a genre of music.
I don't know what that is.
Dungeon synth?
Dungeon.
You gotta listen to dungeon synth. Hey, what's up, Tailco? You left us earlier.
You're back.
Hey, Belle.
Hey.
You left us.
I just talked to another Ancap, actually.
Who?
I forgot their name. It was like Quack or some shit.
Quacks like a duck.
Yeah, Quack like a duck. I think he was really just a communist.
I don't think he's a communist. I believe him to be he's an ANCAP objectivist.
I mean, he literally said he wants no money. He wants the society to be stateless. Like,
Moneyless, stateless. That's ANCOMs.
Wait a minute. ANCAPs want statelessness, and I would be surprised if he said no money. Granted, I'm not some authority on him. I don't know him that well, but I would make a lot of sense if he said he doesn't want the government printing out fiat currency.
He just said he wants no money, like moneyless.
And he was not an anarcho-capitalist.
Yeah, that sounds
would
like an
be weird.
ANCOM to me.
Hi, Belle.
Hello.
So what is a Belle Delphine offender?
Defender.
Defender. Get
What is a Belle
it right,
Delphine?
bro.
Not an A, it's a person.
Wasn't that underage, like, 15-year-old girl who would show her toes on Instagram until she got banned?
No.
Oh,
No,
it wasn't.
she's like 25 or something now.
Oh.
She's currently 26, but like she got famous.
No,
Like
bro.
she turned hold on, she turned 18 October 23rd, 2017. She got famous from 2018 to 2019.
Oh, he's one of those.
Oh, bro, he
Oh,
knows
he's
her
one of
whole
them.
history, bro.
Oh, I'm adding that in the video. That's going in the video.
Hey, yo.
Bro, outed himself.
Immediately knew the date she turned 18.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that
Alright.
yeah, you brought that on yourself, buddy.
I don't see the issue with knowing that knowledge. I don't see why that's important.
Bro, I don't even know my
See, on
mother's
my
fucking birthday. Are you
that
kidding
one,
me? Or am I a bad person?
I know my mother's birthday.
My mother's birthday is on September 11th, and I don't
Is it 2000?
think it's a coincidence. And I don't think it's a
Your
Your
coincidence.
mom did
She's a
9/11?
bomb.
What?
Your mom's actually a Jew that did 9/11.
My mom is a Jew, and
Wait, guys, hear me out. Hear me out. The Earth is round, but you know what else is round? The shape of Palestine. But you know what else is round? Mark Jaffrey's face. So taking all these facts together, I think we can conclude that pesos are actually alien currency.
I'm a legal alien.
This is my first day being a conspiracy theorist. Am I doing a good job?
No.
Yeah, great job.
I don't think my mom did 9/11, but I could totally see her doing it.
Val, how old are you, and how old were you when you first started to jerk it to Belle Delphine?
I'm 19
I am-
when I first saw her when I was 13. Right?
Okay, at least he was also a minor. Okay, that at least that okay.
Wait,
I'm
was she
29.
around? Was she around when she was a minor?
Yeah, I mean, like she did
I-
like some
She
makeup
around
stuff
when
when
she
she was
was a
like,
minor.
and like some random pictures. She wasn't like didn't anything like when she was like 16, 17-ish. But she got famous
6,
like
7.
after she was 18.
I am 29 and have been jerking it to Belle Delphine since I first saw her.
I'll admit
I
it.
don't know when that was.
I jerked off to her a few
Seven-
times.
Like 7 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, all right.
I think she's an ANCAP icon.
An
Yeah, for
ANCAP
sure.
icon. Let's see. Oh yeah, she did the Gamer Girl Bathwater thing in 2019.
She's a true
She got banned
capitalist.
at 5 million followers for nudity and sexual content. She got arrested because she hit someone with a hammer. Then she did
Oh, that was
only. Then she scammed people.
He's
Okay.
like, that was fake.
There's hold on. The scamming was made up. First of all, or else you're gonna use like a stupid definition of fraud, which I think is incoherent and not compatible with libertarian theory at least. Because
Wait,
it
what did
applies
she
to
do?
Terms of service would be a legitimate form of contract.
Okay, I just
Uh,
googled her name and a Google immediately just pulled up a link to the PH. That's crazy. I didn't even. Okay.
Wait, what did she
but
do?
She did. Okay, she did never.
She's a hyperlink.
Wait, I wanna
PH.
hear- wait, I wanna hear it.
Hold on, the PH link, but she only scrolled on that one. She never actually posted anything. There.
No, she's on there, gang.
Yeah,
Not that I clicked
she's on
her.
there. She's on there, right? But all the videos there, she did that for trolling people. There isn't actually any.
Trolling people naked.
Wait, so she scammed her? How she scam her
No,
fans?
she wasn't. Like you can look it up if you want, but I'm saying that like her income necessarily implies that it's not outside of OnlyFans. It would make no sense for that anywhere else. I know what's on there. It was like a whole thing. She started that because like the PewDiePie thing, so she used it and then she trolled people and put like the thumbnails and like the description of videos, and then she didn't actually do what was in there. And
Yeah, bro. She did nothing wrong. I think you're just a hater.
accident just closed.
Well, I don't know what I would do without you, man. You're a godsend.
I accidentally just closed Discord. What'd
I
you say?
got banned from another room, by the way, after getting unbanned from the same room. Yeah, Vega guy despises me. He said he wants to sue me as well.
What's the
Yeah,
Connor
like,
guy?
What?
The Connor guy?
No, Vega, the guy on the call above us. He got really mad because I posted him saying stupid shit. Then he said I was recording people without consent and that breaks the law. Then I pointed him to the rules of the server, which clearly state that by joining you consent to be recorded. Mr.
Yeah.
Giggles is my best friend. You guys sleep?
I'm trying to.
I'm gonna go to sleep
Sometimes.
in like 1 minute. Honestly, because I'm getting kind of tired now.
Oh, there goes.
No,
Belle
taxation
Delphine.
is out.
Oh, taxation left, not me.
Yeah,
There
honestly, I'm
goes
about to head to bed now myself too because I gotta go to work. But you know, it was nice talking to you, man.
Right.
Nice to meet you,
Have a
Tilko.
good day. Nice to meet you. KingSithis.
Yes,
Be sure to check out all my
Yes,
YouTube videos and like them, and then watch them all of them and like them all.
Thank you. The Belle Delphine video coming out soon.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
It's gonna be clips, but.
Good
yeah,
night.
for sure.
All right, everybody. It was fun, but I gotta go to bed. Have a good night.
Too bad again, short haha. GN dude.
Have a good night, man.